All right. I'm here with Miss Carrie. We came together, part of my things reaching out for this year. And me and her, that is topic. It's a big topic between my audience, her audience. Carrie, introduce yourself to what you do, how you, why now? And see how we can bring out our topic and talk about.
Ah, yeah, my name is Carrie Pullaro, and I focus on relationships. I help independent women realize that they are the prize and just effortlessly attract a man that leads, loves their drive, and
Ooh,
appreciates them for who they are.
now let me ask you this. What is your program called right now? It's something AF. What is it called?
Oh, it's worthy as fuck because
There you
yes, because we get to see our worthiness before we can see it in anyone else. So why are
go.
we out there trying to find a relationship when we don't even see that we're worthy enough for one?
Let me tell you something about Miss Pullaro right here. I've seen her career shoot up to the moon once she's figured out certain things in life, and that's what she does to help women. A lot of times we don't have the self-worth we do because of trauma, making excuses, doing things that really don't matter until you've healed from that and learned that. But that brings us to our topic. How many of you are making excuses for the things you got going on in your life? Whether you're a CEO, a director, a manager, you're going to understand what makes a woman tick and what she's looking for in saying becoming high value yourself, healing, worth, because we're going to hit some major topics that you guys might want to hear. Making excuses, Miss Carrie. Tell the viewers what is that to you and how it affects men and relationships.
I think when, at least for me, my pattern has been when I've been unhappy in a situation, I always want to blame the other person. It must be them. And it's just me not wanting to accept responsibility and now taking a new stance of if I'm responsible for it all, because I attract everything that's in my space, right?
Mm,
Because what I focus on grows, then how can I show up in the world and attract something different? If I'm unhappy with the way things are, I can create something different, but it really comes down to me. Like, where is it that I can show up differently?
What are
Where's
some
my
of the things that you've come across in your profession, in your helping other women, that you've done yourself, that you have done to actually internalize all of this stuff? Because the stuff, guys, if you see her stuff, she's on point. She's on point on everything and it's smoking hot. Her content is hot. Her teaching hot. What are some of the things that you've done to help yourself so that you can help these other women?
Oh my gosh, I really got to dive into my own self-worth and go back and look at my patterns, what I made situations in my past mean about me. And that really was exactly how I began to show up. If I had a bad relationship with my dad, and then I went into another relationship with a partner, I was still angry at my dad. I'm going to carry that with me.
Ooh,
Carry all of that anger.
yeah.
And I think it took me a long time to realize that. You knew me way back in the day when I was
Yes,
angry
yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing because, guys, let me say, from a guy's point of view, when a woman has certain traumas, like she hasn't forgiven her dad for some,
Yeah.
until she realized that and had the accountability to take it out, she turned this into this different person. And I just wanted to congratulate her on that because I've seen her go through the stages. This is what makes her so unique. Her propositions, her teachings, her things. Elaborate more on that because this is deep. This is real deep shit.
So I grew up in a critical household. And that was, now that I've done some work, like that's how my dad grew up too.
Yeah.
So he grew up in a critical household. I grew up in a critical household. It was, hey, this isn't good enough. Make it happen. Then of course, I internalize that. I'm so critical of me, but yet I'm going to go into relationships and I'm going to think that it's normal communication to criticize you to get you to change because that was what I experienced when I was younger. And I had no choice. I couldn't speak up for
Right.
myself and say, hey, this doesn't work. But I didn't know that it didn't work. I just thought this is how people communicate.
And nobody knows it works or don't work because at the
Right.
end of the day, it's basically an industrial age model that's been passed on from their grandmas, from
Right.
their recession time to what's going on. And I get it because my grandma, I mean, I come from a split household also, but sometimes in some of Carrie's clients, it's like they need to hear it from a man that's okay to let go and get over your trauma. Because I have the same problem with CEOs, management, directors, sales teams. You mean different things. They might have trauma based on certain things going back from their past. But what if you could change and you could have a company or be in management where you lift people up and you fixed yourself? You mean, because a lot of times if you don't fix yourself, with especially what's going on in the world right now, nobody's going to go on. Could you show some tips that you've used in your profession, making yourself understand and how it can portray to other people?
I think one of the things, and this is a constant piece of work that I'm on, is to celebrate myself for the things that
Oh,
I have
nice.
accomplished. Like,
Nice.
and the more that I celebrate myself, then I have the ability to celebrate other people. But
That's
as I sit in the criticism of myself, then I'm going to criticize other people. I'm going to look at what they're doing wrong. I'm going to be judgy as hell. And it has nothing to do with them. It really is just like projecting on how I'm feeling about myself.
true. Yeah. I just did a clip about are you projecting how people treat you by how you feel about yourself? That was I
Mhm.
think that one got people like down because they don't realize certain things. That are you training people to treat you a certain way because of how you feel about yourself?
Mm.
Is taking accountability a big thing with you now, especially like when you're doing your coaching and you can tell. I can tell in somebody's eyes if they know what accountability is, and you have it in your eyes because it's huge.
Oh, yeah. And even now, it's like when I do show up, because it's one thing I think that people misconstrue is they think, hey, you do this work and then all of a sudden you're perfect. You're
Oh,
going to show up and fuck shit up. And that's okay. As long as you recognize it and then take accountability and take responsibility for it, make amends, apologize, whatever it is that you have to do to own your shit.
yeah.
You're not going to be perfect at it. Things are going to come up.
The thing's gonna come up every single day, especially if you got kids.
My God.
Imagine. Like I was telling Carrie earlier. Okay, my day starts out like 3:30 in the morning. I try to get things done before they wake up, and then I try to take care of my finance, take care of my health, take care of my business, take care of the content, take care of this. And it all comes down to one thing because the accountability, if I haven't internalized a lot of this stuff, things don't move forward. Now, does everybody have a perfect relationship? Fuck no. Part of that is if your relationship is perfect, something is wrong because it's supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be loving. It's supposed to be all of these things put together. Carrie's found herself. She didn't cure all of it, but she's working on herself so deeply now that she's happy because her face says it all. Look at what she looks like. If you knew her a few years ago from way back, she'd be bouncing off the wall. But now that I see the serenity, the sereneness, and guys, for some of her clients that's going to be watching this, from a guy's point of view, we don't want baggage. If you can cure your baggage with her, we want to be respected. But if you don't respect yourself, how are we going to respect you from as a guy point of view? We want to help you. We want to save you. But we cannot do it all if we go push and pull and keep and take. The trauma that you have, you can talk to her. You can see what she has because she's been walking through it on her own. And a lot of times that's the points we want to make of me and her making this type of content because the baggage you have, we can take some of it. But after a while, with life's things, it gets heavy. Does that make sense?
Oh my God. And I got to tell you, as you were saying all of that, I was like, I'm so grateful for my partner because he creates boundaries. And I
You need it.
remember very early on in our relationship, he was just like, you get to handle your emotions and then come have a conversation with me.
Smart man.
That's the way that we can effectively communicate with one another. Because I used to be like, I'm feeling it now. Let's have a conversation. It didn't dawn on me. Yes, conflict is going to be healthy in a relationship.
True.
That's how you grow. But the way you handle the conflict can be effective or ineffective. And clearly coming in with a lot of emotional shit is ineffective.
Yeah, because the baggage is nasty.
Yeah.
It's nasty and you don't know how you're going to react. Let me ask you this question. Because my other video project is called Boundaries and Brotherhood. You mentioned the word boundaries, right? Would you consider him a high value man? And what would you look for in a high value man? And this is my thing with him because emotional intelligence, the messaging that you have in your emotions, the boundaries you have to set, he's going to be all there. He'll do everything for you, but you also have to respect his boundaries. That's huge.
I absolutely consider him a high value man. We actually met in a personal development class.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he presented himself in a way. So during COVID, there was a course we took, and it was creating your relationship formula. We were both in there wanting to create a relationship. They put us in these little small groups, and he was in my small group. And throughout the whole process of a few hours, they ask everybody questions. You go through all these processes, and at the very end, they tell you, "Hey, we would like you to give these people feedback on whether you would date them or not," essentially, because they're never going to be able to go to a date and get real, true feedback, honestly. And so he said to me, "Carrie, let me tell you why I wouldn't date you." And he was like, "Because you don't communicate what you want from a man. You expect them to guess. And if they get it right, you just move the goalpost and nobody wins." And I'm like, oh shit, I do that. It landed. That feedback landed. Where I was like, I
Oh,
totally do that. At the very end of this, it just hit me like in my core.
oh
Wow.
my,
And thank you for being honest enough to say that to me.
correct.
Oh man, after the course, they told us find an accountability partner. And I'm like, I want that dude because he's not going to lie to me. He's going to tell me exactly what the fuck, how I'm showing up. If I'm being an asshole, tell me. So I hunted down his phone number, and he became my accountability partner, and we talked every week, and we just stopped. We never stopped talking.
Beautiful.
That really was how we met.
Beautiful. That is, let me ask you this. You need somebody to tell you the truth. He set his own boundaries. He's going to give you the raw truth, but he was open enough to give you that type of feedback that ultimately had the loving care that you needed to move forward. You
Absolutely.
respected him for that.
Oh my God, yeah.
You
I absolutely
respected him for that because at the end of the day, it's, man, this motherfucker, nobody told me that shit. But you needed that. You needed that Tim to be strong, but at the same time, a little bit of caring and having that give take. That's so interesting because even like for my wife, like she used to be my dispatcher at the hotel, but she never really she just heard stories about me and stuff like that until she found out, like, let me find out. I guess the curiosity killed the cat because he goes, everybody else is trying to get with her. I'm just, who cares? I'm like, what? You mean it irked the crap out of her, right? But then she found out my past, my history. And the funny part is I told her, this is what's going to happen in steps. If we get together, nobody's going to be talking to you no more. Everybody's going to be afraid because they don't know what I'm going to do. I gave her my paperwork like I did in prison because I know your family's not going to agree with me. Nobody wants to be with an ex-felon with my shady past. We had the talk. And every female, sometimes in that time frame, timing can be off too, needs to have that talk because it happens for a reason. Nobody wants it because they have ultimatum things going on in their head. But if they can treat you with respect and tell you the honest truth, oh, motherfucker, okay, this is what I got for me. And then now you get more curious. What else does he have? What else? What would you tell women? These new women. Okay, what's the age group nowadays where they just take advantage of men? What are you seeing in your arena?
So how I'm going to answer that question is this. He was not like anyone I would have ever picked at all. Nothing.
It's like me.
He was the total opposite of what I would have picked in every way. And there was just something inside of me that was like, what do you have to lose? I'm intrigued by this. I'm appreciative for the way this man shows up and calls me out, but he's not mean. It's not coming from a malicious
like hateful
place.
place. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's doing his own work. That was very important to me. He's doing his own, and there were moments that I would call him for something and he would tell me, I think that this is something that you get to call somebody else for coaching. This isn't something that I can support you with. And so his ability to be able to just discern that was super helpful.
Good.
Yeah.
That is good. That is amazing. Honestly, that's really amazing. It seemed like when my wife went on her physical journey after the baby, she was boom. Okay, she goes, okay, I wanted to get into physical because I go to the gym a lot. Okay, I want to train her, but she's like, no, we can't do it. So I paid a trainer to get her on this journey. She was emotional about it. It's a lot of money. We don't have the money now, this and that. But then I said, look, now you're doing all this. Now she wants to compete because her trainer is now we can go to the gym together. You mean me? Because now we paid for her, we paid for all the things to get done, feel good about herself, this and that. Like now she goes, I want to try and compete because she lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
Last year when we got her, she did all the mommy maker because she deserved it all. She worked so hard to get all this weight off. She did all the things. Now it's okay. And then, like you said, I am not the typical guy she would go for. I'm short, I'm Asian, I'm not 6 foot, I'm not white. You know what I mean? But it's like the things that you say, I can discern myself. I can set the boundaries. I can relinquish my ego when I don't have to. I can appreciate life, what she has to offer also. So it's a good balance. And then when we had kids, it's like, now you look at this situation, right? Guys, I'm gonna give you a straight up. For a guy who had been through my life to be a stay-at-home dad with my kids, to have a second chance of life, and to have my wife said, you've been doing it for us for so long, let me do it for us this time. That is high value woman in itself that you don't get no more. It's because usually she's a flight attendant going all over the place and she's smoking right now, right? She's got everything done. Like I have to be confident in myself. I have to give her trust. And I'm sure like when I see you guys pictures, I'm like, because I was going to say, I want to talk to your dude too, because he's somebody I would want to look up to and kind of have a conversation together.
What I really focused on with them is like getting clear on what they require in a relationship. What are their standards? But not only that, it's look at what you've been accepting and tolerating because you don't have standards right now. And then go from there. Are those still the things that you want to accept? Like when he and I met, we had only met on Zoom. We never met in person. And so we only talked to, I think that was one of the key things, was that we never met in person and we got to know each other over the phone for about 2 months. And I think after about 3 months, he came to visit me in Florida because he was in California. He came to visit me in Florida. And that's when we met in person.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think people do that today. I'm just getting to know you over the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah.
Like people don't do that no more. That is so cool. Like he took the initiative to go out and fly to you. That's something like he's old school. He's part old school. He's older.
A couple of years older than me, yes.
Okay, he's older, but he has that in him. Somebody taught that in him to kind of, unless he just want to, but that's so cool because like you said before, he was seeking work himself.
Yes.
And I know that for a person that's going into self-help, to coaching, to being certified, that's a huge thing because you can't play on the same level and expect the other person to have expectations of you when they don't even know what they're talking about. At least you guys can have a conversation about that.
That was absolute, like that was learning from my past relationships where I had been doing personal development. My partners were not.
Of course not.
And I was like, I couldn't figure out why is this not working? And the communication was totally off. Yeah, I think I got a few things going for me here he's an attorney, so he gets paid to communicate. Do you know what I mean? So he's got that going for him.
You think?
Yeah, that's so true. That doesn't work.
But then again, too,
no winning.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And I think that's part of my learning. It's not about winning anymore. It's just about like, where can we go from here? Because if there's a winner, there's a loser. And who wants to be the fucking loser in the relationship?
If you don't put the relationship above everything else, say, okay, there's 3 parts of the triangle, right? You got your family, your finances, and your fitness, right? Things. Under family, the category, you would have communication, you have your investments, you have all your things, and then you have your family and what goes around in a circle, 3 points. But if you're controlling 3 parts of the circle and they're not giving in, your relationship is doomed. You can't argue. He's bringing home his work. It's like, now you're just there. How long have we been doing this? This is ridiculous.
I don't know, but it's great.
Yeah, but no, we can do this. We can do this. What hot topic are you seeing besides making excuses that your clients are seeing? And what can we do together as a team to help your clients? Vice versa.
Oh, man. I see women showing up so powerfully at work. Like it's almost like that's their validation. They show up so
Mm,
powerfully at work in their accomplishments, their perfectionism, whatever you want to call it. But then when it comes to pick partner, there is this, because they work off of external validation,
true.
there is not this belief that I deserve a particular type of man or that he's even available to me. Like, I had a client say something to me one day about, I've just accepted the fact that I'm going to have to support my partner or
What?
whoever my partner might be. And I'm like, oh, where did that come from? Let's talk about where that came from. And that actually came from, that was how her family dynamic was set up. So she believed it to be
That's
true.
true.
Really
Wow.
fascinating. It was so fascinating for me to like really unwrap that with her and be like, but it doesn't have to be true. It could have been
Oh,
true before, but it doesn't have to be true now.
let me ask you this. In some of your clients, do they have women egos?
Oh, yeah. Yes. There is this idea of, I cannot allow a man to take care of me in a particular way. And it doesn't mean financially. It really is just my ability to receive. It's like, I have to let them know that I can do it too. I have to let them know that I can match them. And that's repelling.
That's very repelling from a man's point of view. If you got that, you're going to be more masculine than me. I get it if I'm a strong individual man from doing this, but that's baggage also.
Yeah.
That's baggage.
Like,
You're not approachable. You don't have to communicate. You cannot distinguish you coming home from being the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company and you telling me because of money, you're going to take care of me when I have my own thing, when money's not important. Or say, I'm trying to date this person, or from a man's point of view, and you just talk about what you've accomplished, but not working on us. Are those the type of things that you're going through? We're going to have to talk about these topics.
oh yeah, these will be like really great topics. There is this level of, and I'm all about, and I think there's a fine line of women being equal. And yes, we're equal as far as like partners, but like when this feminism stuff comes out, we're like, I'm better than you. I think that's bullshit. I am not better than you. I'm not here to compete with you. But what I'm here to do is learn how we can best work together. And if you leading, that's normal. Like
It's not
that
a big
really
deal.
is,
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. It
big
doesn't mean
deal.
you're telling me what the fuck to do.
It's not a big deal. No, it's like if you're working together for the common good for both of you,
Yeah.
then it should be. You mean I can handle the feminism for little thing? You don't need this, you don't need that, or you're equal to that. Yeah, you can say it all. But when you put the thing to the fire, and at the end of the day, most females at least want to be cared for because they're just covering up their insecurities with what they got as being a CEO. Because it's the same thing I have with men. Men on the hand, they have egos. I have got this. I'm driving this. I got this. But you have no relationship with your kids. Your wife just spending all your money and you're using that as leverage. Or you think you got going on that because the men also have that trauma and baggage. It's the same exact thing, but different genders, but they have that pride, that ego, that magnetism, that puff up your chest when you, at the end of the day, you're just going through life the same as everybody else. What is your legacy? When you go away, when you die, you didn't make the world a better place, but at the end of it all, it's going to be like, what did you do to make yourself better? Your mindset is all you can take, right? Because that's what propels you to your legacy. What did you do? You built a company, you can't even sell it, you can't take the money with you. You know what I mean? Because guys, if you like this type of, if you're watching the full video, I want you to go check out Carrie's stuff. If your wife needs some help, right? If she has baggage, I want to promote. We're gonna create more content like this because I'm gonna take this up and you're gonna see me do a lot of Miss Pullaro, Carrie, end this thing because this way I can do what I need, chop these things up. But we're gonna bring you more of this. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be in fact, what would be our next topic? We just have a conversation about self-help and confidence and all this stuff.
Oh, I think competing with your partner, I think that is going to be a good topic.
That's it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys. Next week, we're gonna bring a topic of competing with your partner. All right, my name is Gordon Watt. When I
And
do
I'm
this,
Carrie Pullaro.
yes, and we're gonna do that. I'm gonna pause this right there. Have a good day. Aloha.